In 1 year, I played 15 different tabletop role-playing game systems, and in less than 15 minutes, I'm going to tell you about each one. So you can share this video with your group, figure out which games you might want to try this year, and pick up some materials to help you get started. Because I'm Bob, this is where we learn how to have more fun playing RPGs together, and there's like 1,000 links in the description for all the resources I'll be mentioning. Assuming you have experience with Dungeons & Dragons, I'm going to start with the most familiar games, summarizing their main distinguishing features, and then branching out. So, number 1. My own heavily homebrewed version of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. I ran this game every week for the last 10 months, and my group still used the core mechanic of D&D 5e, 1d20, roll high, adding strength, dexterity, constitution, wisdom, intelligence, or charisma, but we only used races and classes from this core book, and then a ton of homebrew rules that I've talked about in other videos, like no initiative, no 5-foot squares, epic critical hits, and the magic system of a different TTRPG. If you want to get started with D&D, you really don't need to buy this core rulebook. Just get the rules for free online through the approved sources linked below, or check out some of these other games which are easier to learn as a new player or GM. Like number 2, Shadowdark. I ran a one-shot session of this game and my players loved it. Exactly like D&D 5e, Shadowdark's core mechanic is 1d20, roll high, adding strength, dex, con, wisdom, intelligence, or charisma. Same, but this game streamlines 5e into a single, convenient, digest-sized rulebook, and it makes dungeons far more thrilling because player characters don't automatically have night vision goggles. They can only see in the dark with lanterns or torches, which only last 1 hour of real time. So my players lost their minds when the torch happened to go out as soon as a monster attacked. Also, unlike 5e, Shadowdark spellcasters must roll a spell check to successfully cast a spell, but a natural 20 means you can double any numerical aspect of the spell, like its range, duration, damage, etc. Overall, Shadowdark is like 5e, but gritty, with tons of useful tables to actually help the GM, and it's easy to read and get started because it has a free quick start pack, including a short guide, a pre-written adventure, and pre-made characters all ready to go. So try out Shadowdark, or number 3, Dungeon Crawl Classics. I ran and played a few one-shots of DCC this year, and similar to 5e, this game uses 1d20, roll high, adding strength, agility, not dexterity, agility, stamina, personality, intelligence, or luck. Yeah, luck is a stat, and it's a great fallback for the Game Master because it's used to modify your character's critical hits, fumbles, and more. DCC also offers Level 0 adventures, where each player uses multiple peasant characters, and whoever survives the first adventure reaches Level 1. And as I hinted earlier, I'm using this game's magic system in my D&D 5e campaign. Like Shadowdark, DCC spellcasters must roll spell checks, but every spell has its own whole table to describe the effects of different results, and they get absolutely wild. And that's Dungeon Crawl Classics. 5e, but wild. Check out the free quick start PDF or get more wild with the next game. Number 4, X-Crawl Classics. I played in a one-shot of this game, which basically uses the rules of DCC, but elevates the wild to insanity, mostly through its setting. Rather than fantasy adventurers, the player characters are superstar athletes of the weird future North American Empire, starring in a live pay-per-view death sport, the Extreme Dungeon Crawl League, aka X-Crawl. So check out the free X-Crawl RPG Gamma Rules PDF to try your own insane one-shot. And yeah, this is a perfect place to pause and point out the theme of this video. I experienced most of these games as one-shots, one-off sessions, not part of any larger campaign. And for 5 of these 15 games, I ran the one-shots with 0 experience as a player. I just read the quick start rules and I went for it, and you can too. If you're the regular GM for your group, just tell your players, hey, for our next game night, I'm going to run a one-shot of this game, period. If you're usually a player, tell your group, hey, I want to run a one-shot of this game. Can we do it in one of our normal game nights, or should I schedule one? and in the extremely rare case that every person in your group refuses to indulge your fun for just a single game session, go online, find the respective Discord server for the game or its publisher, and tell everyone there, hey, I'm new and I'd like to play or run a session next week. Boom, done. Number 5, Index Card RPG. I played in a one-shot, and exactly like D&D 5e, it uses 1d20 roll high with strength, dex, con, wisdom, intelligence, or charisma. Like Shadowed Ark, ICRPG is D&D, but even more streamlined. It only uses modifiers instead of ability scores. It uses one target number for everything in the same area, so everybody always knows what they need to roll, and it uses different dice for different types of attacks. Also, the core rulebook includes 5 different settings for fantasy, prehistory, superheroes, and more, but you can start off with the free ICRPG Quick Start PDF, or check out number 6, Deathbringer. I played in a one-shot of this ultra-streamlined, very grimdark version of D&D 5e using 1d20 roll high with the same 6 stats. Though technically, the version I played with the lead designer only used strength, dex, and mind, which I think is the plan for the full game currently in development. But much like Shadowed Ark, Deathbringer offers the thrill of no one being able to see in the dark without a torch, and the eponymous Deathbringer dice, special d6s that you can use to boost your rolls, boost your allies' rolls, or absorb incoming damage. But now, let's begin to branch out. Number 7, DC 20. I played in a one-shot of this heroic fantasy game, which is also kinda like D&D, but rather than stripped down, it's reimagined to enhance the superheroic theme without getting overly complex like Pathfinder. So DC 20 uses 1d20 roll high, adding might, agility, charisma, or intelligence, only 4 stats. And whichever is your character's highest attribute is your character's prime attribute. So you could have an intelligence-based barbarian or a might-based wizard. And similar to the epic magic of Dungeon Crawl Classics, DC 20 uses increments of success for all attacks, so beating the target number by 5 or 10 or 15 ratchets up the results. It's still in development, but you can get the alpha rules to get started. Or look into number 8, Daggerheart. I played a one-shot of this game, which also promises to be a reimagined heroic fantasy RPG, but instead of rolling 1d20, the core mechanic is 2d12 roll high, using strength, agility, finesse, instinct, presence, and knowledge. So, pretty similar, but whenever you roll 2d12 and you take the total, you want to roll higher on one of those d12s, representing hope, to earn points of hope, which you can then spend to boost your own rolls or your allies' rolls, or to activate certain character features. Everything else is still subject to change, so sign up for the playtest to see more as this one develops. And hey, if you want to hear more about Daggerheart or another one of these games, tell me in the comments, then subscribe so you don't miss a video about that game, and then politely obliterate that like button so more people will see this video, and consider joining our Patreon community as the best way to support what I do and get some sweet, sweet exclusive content, like see some of the playtest materials for Daggerheart that I haven't shown in a video yet. Thanks. Number 9, Cairn. I played and ran a couple one-shots of this very grounded, stripped-down fantasy game, which uses 1d20 roll low with strength, dexterity, and willpower. So instead of the GM needing to decide a target number, you just need to roll under your own attribute score. However, another notable feature is that you do not need to roll 1d20 to see if you land a hit in combat. You just roll damage, and some of that damage is automatically absorbed by armor. Now, the publisher is currently working on a second edition, but the Cairn 1e core rulebook is like 20 pages, and the PDF version is completely free. So this is my main recommendation for folks who want to begin exploring games outside of the 1d20 with the same stick stats genre. But then a little further afield, we have number 10, Easy D6. I played a one-shot of this, quote, fast-moving game of fantasy mayhem, and as you may be able to tell by the name, Easy D6, the core mechanic is a D6 pool, roll high, with no attributes. So you're usually rolling 1 to 3 D6s based on your character's features and not adding them together, just hoping that at least one dice reaches the target number, but whenever you fail, you gain a karma point, which you can add to a result or cash in multiple karma to re-roll one die. EZD6 has a 100-page core rulebook packed with character options and monsters, available as a PDF or in print. And now, getting slightly weirder, 11 Skate Wizards. I ran a couple one-shots of this gnarly fantasy game, which uses 2d6, roll high, adding strength, dex, or willpower. Every player character is a skateboarding wizard with spells like ramp, rail, and gleam the cube, but I love the rando spells, for which the spell effects are decided collaboratively by the player and the game master. Like in Cairn, attacks always hit with some damage reduction, but instead of dying at 0 hit points, your board breaks and you become a poser until your party can help you restore your skateboard. The rulebook is 40 pages, so including 4 pre-written mini adventures, so it's easy to pick up and play even for beginners. Similar to Goons and Ghosts. I ran a couple one-shots of this game with a similar tone and rules to Skate Wizards, but a strong Ghostbusters theme. It uses 2d6, roll high, adding body, smarts, or ESP. The player characters rely on improvised gadgets and their particle throwers to trap ghosts, and most damage works like Cairn and Skate Wizards. But for particle throwers, all the characters roll 1d6, adding the results together for damage, unless 2 characters roll 1s and cross the streams. This creates a random mishap with the effects decided collaboratively. The Goons and Ghosts rulebook is only 12 pages, but it comes with 3 beautifully designed pamphlet adventures. But if you want a spooky game with a more sincere tone, you want number 13, Candela Obscura. I ran a one-shot of this investigative dark horror fantasy game with a vaguely similar core mechanic to EZD6. It's D6 pool, roll high, with nerve, cunning, or intuition, where your investigator's attribute rating determines how many d6s you roll, and you can add dice by spending drive points on your own rolls or on an ally's rolls. There's a fair amount of character customization, and over half of the 200-page Candela Obscura core rulebook is lore about their wonderfully macabre early 1900s-ish fantastical/historical setting. It's cool, and there's a free quick start PDF, and if you like this one, you might also like number 14, Monster of the Week. I played a one-shot of this dark, gritty, modern monster hunting game. It uses 2d6 roll high, adding charm, cool, sharp, tough, or weird, and while I would totally play this again, perhaps the coolest thing about Monster of the Week is that the game is built on a very popular D6 system called Powered by the Apocalypse. And the Powered by the Apocalypse system is used for dozens of other cool games. Like, I really want to try Avatar Legends sometime soon, and that's also a PBTA game. And since I couldn't find a free quick start guide for Monster of the Week, I'm going to put the Avatar one in the description. Similarly, number 15, the Cypher system. I played in a one-shot of a cyberpunk-style game using this system, 1d20, roll high, with might, speed, and intellect, where you can spend points from those stats or other features to lower the target number of a roll. Besides Cyberpunk, the Cypher system has a bunch of different games with different themes to explore. And I'm excited to explore deeper into some of these games and to check out some new ones in 2024, like Mouse Ritter, which is one I've had on my shelf for a while and really been waiting to try but haven't yet. The Stormlight Archive RPG, Tales of the Valiant, Maze Rats, Knave 2E, The One Ring 2E, because I like Lord of the Rings and I've also had this on my shelf for a while but haven't tried it yet, and Cats of Cthulhu, which I just got Grace for Christmas, and it seems like another fun little game. So share this video with your group, check out this one on your screen, and consider joining as a channel member or a patron to directly support what I do and get into the private Bob World Builder Discord server where you can talk about these weird games and not feel like a weirdo. Thank you for your support, and keep building.